it is time for the legal edge, where our barristers will be putting to us that this is how it should be, this is how it should not be. And of course, Barrister Mary Ogbe will be leading. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you. Good morning, Christy. How are you doing this morning?
Good, very well. Thank you.
Okay, good morning, my beautiful people out there. Thank you for joining me on another episode of The Legal Edge. My name is Mary Ogbe. Today, we are shedding light on a deeply sensitive yet important topic: widowhood practices in Nigeria. Across many communities, widows face harmful traditions, discrimination, and even violence, all in the name of culture. But what does the law say? And how do we balance tradition with human rights? To help us explore this topic, we have a guest in the studio. She's the chairperson of the Gender Response Initiative team by Elsa State. She's an experienced legal practitioner and partner at Egberipou, Befa & Co. Madam Ediseme Egberipou, welcome, welcome to the
Thank you so much, Mary.
How you doing this morning?
Thank you for having me. I'm fine, thank you.
Okay, ma'am, to start, you're the chairperson of the Gender Response Initiative team. Can you briefly tell us what you do at GRIT? What's your mandate, ma'am?
Yes, our mandate in GRIT is to take care of vulnerable people in the society, children, women. Gender, it's not all about women, also men who face violence in their homes. They run to us and we take care of them. We look into their issues and then we address it.
Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am. Okay, so stay with us as we explore the legal, cultural, and human aspects of widowhood in Nigeria. Stay tuned. When we return, we'll hear Perry's story. Widowhood practices in Nigeria. Remember, you can join the conversation with your questions and comments by calling us on 0912 000 1975. That is 0912 000 1975. Our story today is about Berere, and here's our story. Ibiowe, a 39-year-old businessman from southern Niger, had been married to 31-year-old Berere for 5 years when he suddenly fell ill after a business trip to Liberia. Within 3 days, his condition had deteriorated that he could barely get up from his bed. He had high fever, nausea, and eventually started vomiting blood. The hospital said it was a case of Ebola which he could have contracted on his trip, and they did all they could, but by the 5th day, Ibiowe gave up the ghost. He had 4 children, 2 with Berere and 2 from a previous marriage. His family are angered and are accusing Berere of killing their brother, as they do not understand how an otherwise healthy man can die within 5 days. They have now requested that she moves to the village to live with the children until the burial. Because of the nature of the illness, Ibiowe was buried within 7 days. Berere has been asked to shave her head and has been threatened to be dealt with if she does not confess to the killing of her husband. Now that her husband has been buried, she has been presented 6 men from her husband's extended family, including a 5-year-old boy, to choose from as her husband according to tradition. If she fails to choose a husband, then she will be forced to leave the family house without any property or her children. Also, the women in the children have stated that her 2-year-old daughter needs to be circumcised. What can Berere do in the circumstance? That's our story this morning. It's a sad one, also.
Very sad indeed. The issues here is about widowhood practice in Nigeria.
Yes, ma'am.
But practically we're looking at that of southern Niger, which is in Bayelsa State. Now, there are several legal issues highlighted there: threat to life, rights to dignity, and also defamation of her character, because they are saying that, accusing her that she killed her husband without any proof. Then there is also the issue of proof of innocence, that one has to be taken to a court, a competent court of jurisdiction, and be tried for any offense you think that person has committed before you can now say or accuse that person of that crime. Or you can safely say this person has committed a crime. And the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria has protected every citizen by setting it in Section 35 It's a 36 sub 5 that anyone who has been accused of a crime must be taken to a competent court of law, tried. Unless that is done, that person is presumed to be innocent. So those are the legal issues. And then also the issue of female genital mutilation as regards her daughter,
yes,
which is also offensive to the Constitution because you do not have the right and other provisions in Nigeria, especially the VAP, the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act. That is in case of Nigeria, and then when it is domesticated, it becomes a law of that state that specifically prohibits the circumcision of a girl child. Yes, those are the issues.
Yes, there are lots of issues in the story as you have highlighted. Can we first look at if it is legal in Nigeria to force a widow to shave her head or to move to the village after her husband's death? These are practices that we see every day. Or is it legal?
It is illegal. It is only a cultural practice. And the Constitution of Nigeria frowns at it. Particularly Section 42 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria as amended actually protects every citizen from discrimination.
Yes.
And being put into such a situation where the person now is helpless. And also Section 34 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, A and B, which is also an aspect that talks about the freedom of a citizen of Nigeria, the right that that person should not be discriminated against. And also we have the Article 1 and 16 of the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women, 1979. It's also a provision within the Nigeria, the acts within Nigeria that protects especially women from discrimination. So it is illegal.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, I think we'll get to how we can balance cultural practices with the law. But for now, let's go to the issue of asking her to inherit a husband under the traditional customs. So how do we look at that? Is that okay?
It is not okay because you have a right to who you want to be with. Her husband is late. This woman has rights. You cannot force her to do what she does not want to do. Yes.
I think the rationale for that is you want the man's name and the man's property to be within the family. So it may seem like it makes sense, but the law frowns against it.
Yes.
Clearly.
It doesn't make any sense.
Okay, so let's look at, since you have stated, and we know that you cannot, there is a presumption of innocence on every person until a competent court of law pronounces that that person is guilty of a crime.
Yes.
If now that the family is suspecting that she is responsible for the death of her husband, what will you advise them to do, as opposed to forcing and threatening her?
That is forcing the family.
No, what can the family do?
The family can go to any authority like the police to make a formal complaint based on their suspicion. And then the woman should go and prove her innocence. And in such situation, maybe when they get to court, autopsy will be done on the body to see if he was poisoned or what would have caused his death.
Yes.
Yes.
As opposed to threatening her and trying to force her to
do things that she's not supposed to do.
Okay. So now in this situation where she's being forced and threatened by her, husband's family, what can she do? Or a person in that situation, what can they do?
She can also approach the authorities. She can go to the police. She can come to FIDA. She can also go to GRIT. If it's within, yes, of course, it's within Bayelsa State. Yes. The case study is within Bayelsa. So she can go to Gender Response Initiative team, where the governor has looked into it, that these issues are there. This particular group, they attend to issues like this. And so then they can put up a petition for her and then take the matter out from there.
Thank you. Okay, so we are still talking about widowhood practices in Nigeria. Remember, you can join the conversation by calling us on 0912-000-1975. Okay, so the family is also threatening to throw her out if she does not choose a husband, and that she can't, have any of his properties or inherit, she and her children, she can't inherit any of the properties if she decides not to choose a husband. So what does the law say about a widow, a widow's legal right to her deceased husband's property?
The first person that is being considered when a man dies is the wife, because it's the duty of a man while he's even alive to care for his wife. So when the man is no more, why will you want to disinherit his wife? These are things that are very wrong, and the law frowns at it.
Okay. What about this threat of taking her children from her?
They do not have any right to do so, except they go through the right process, maybe going to court, and the court gives an order to that effect. And when you go to court to get such order, you have a lot to prove.
Yes.
You have a lot to do there. If maybe you think the woman has one illness, because I think it is provided for.
Yes.
If maybe she's not mentally stable to be able to take care of the children, if she's unfit in one way or the other, that's the only time you have that's when the court will think, because the court will look at the interest of the children.
Yes.
And not the perere in question at that moment. We'll look at the interest of the children.
And generally, the law would favor the mother to take care of the children as opposed to the extended family.
Extended family, because the law will always see that the parents will be in a better place to take care of their own children.
Yes. Okay. What can her in-laws? Okay, we've just talked about that. But how about the issue of female circumcision?
That one is wrong. There's no legal backing. In fact, the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act frowns at it.
And
in fact, there is a punishment for it. In 2015, good luck, Jonathan, but when he was president, that was when he passed that law. And if you do that, the law will catch up with you.
I think, to be fair to society now, I think it's less rampant.
Yes. You hardly hear about it.
Let's look at when or at what point does a tradition or a culture become a human rights violation? There are a lot of cultures and traditions, and we know that society is based on our culture and our traditions. But when does it now become a violation of human rights? It
becomes a violation when such a custom is repugnant to natural justice, as it is addressed in the Evidence Act, Section 18 of the Evidence Act. States clearly that any custom, tradition that is repugnant to natural justice, policy, and good conscience, such a custom is to be reproved. Yes.
Okay. What can women do? Like in this situation, now that is facing this violation to her rights and her dignity, what can she do?
Yes, I've earlier stated that she can go to relevant authorities to lay a complaint.
Yes.
She can go to FIDA, she can go to the police, which is the primary place to go to. You can go to the police to lay a complaint. They will take it up from there, invite her in-laws, make investigations, and then other authorities. FIDA is there. That's their own destiny to protect the rights of women and children in the society. FIDA is there, and then also GRIT, where the Bayelsa State government has also established that particular team to look into such issues.
I know some people can feel that they are indigent, they are poor, so they may feel like they don't have anybody to, help them. So this is your opportunity to know that there are organizations that are willing to take up your case and
Yes.
to help you. And like our guest has said, you can always approach FIDA, you can always approach GRITS for help. Okay, how is our laws, or how are the laws evolving to offer protection to victims of these traditions? Because we may not know about all the traditions, we may not know about all the cultures, and women are subjected to these things every day. How is our law now evolving to catch up with these things?
It's only when cases come to the open, and then you see that the laws, these provisions that are there, like the VAP law, the Violence Against Persons Prohibition Law of Bayelsa State 2021 is there. So when you have such cases, the authority will, take it up, then lay complaint, the police will take the matter to court, and then the law will be able to help them. Yes.
Okay, so it doesn't matter how unique your case is, there's a solution for you.
Yes.
You don't just sit down and think that you can, or you should suffer. Okay, let's look at widowers, because Peru is a widow year, and a lot of the practices are laid down for widows, and they say do this, do that. You even watch movies where they'll say she has killed her husband, she has to drink the water that they used to beat him. So let's look at widowers. What is the case for widowers, or how is their own defense?
The truth of the matter is that all these restrictions and discrimination, it's not that much in most custom and tradition across Nigeria when it comes to widowers. In fact, you see situations where when it's a widow, they restrict you, you can't come out, you wear white. But a man, in fact, in some custom,
they will look for a wife.
Yes, they will even look for a wife for you. You understand? It's like, so that you will feel okay.
Yes.
They want him to be okay.
To take care of him. Yeah.
But that's a society for you.
Yeah.
So it's different. It's quite different for the widowers.
What do you think that is? Is it a result of patriarchy?
Yeah, of course. The usual thing now. It's a man's world. So every time they want to dominate.
Okay, so but for widowers that also feel like their rights are being infringed on,
they can still come to this. I don't know of FIDA, but I know they can come to GRIT, because GRIT is for both male and female.
Okay.
And I know as chairperson in GRIT, we've attended to some male who have come to complain of one issue or the other as regards violence in their homes, and we attend to it.
Okay, Ma, let me also ask, I know you've attended to a lot of cases. Is there any case that you can share with us that has stayed with you? Any one that
It's actually the one that's involved in man. It's not about widowhood. It's it has to that has to do with domestic violence against the man.
Wow.
Being occasioned by the woman.
Wow.
Yes, and we're able to step in and then see how things were resolved. Yes.
Okay.
In favor of the man.
Okay, so you see, men, there's hope for you out there. You have GRIT for you.
GRIT is for both the male, female, children, all the vulnerable persons in the society. You can come, so long as you have a good case. That you're being oppressed and you do not have the money to approach the regular courts. You can come to us and we'll look into it and we'll take care of your issues.
Okay, so like we have stated, our cultural practices, our traditions, they really are what makes up our society. So how do we find a balance between our traditional practices and the respect for human rights?
For me, I think to strike a balance is simple. Let the custom remain, but do not impose the custom on anyone. I'm also from a particular community, and I respect the custom and tradition of my people. So if there is anyone that is applicable in my place and I want to follow it, I should be allowed to do so. But I should not be compelled So that way you'll be able to strike a balance. You do not infringe on someone's rights because you are not imposing it on the person. And I think, to be fair, our society somehow is come of age. You know, I remember those days. You hear where they say you must shave your hair when your father dies. But right now they'll tell you give money, and then they'll allow you not to shave your hair. In fact, I'm looking forward to that when I'm going to bury my father. So, those are customs that have played out over the years, ages. It's been there. Some people will decide to obey it. They shave their hair as showing last respect to maybe their loved ones, not maybe father, mother, or husband. They should be allowed to do that. Don't compel them. That's the only way you can strike a balance. But when you force the person, then definitely you started crossing the line.
Thank you so much. That's our show. Our topic has been widowhood practices in Nigeria, and we've looked at the case of Perere. We've looked at what you can do if you're a victim of any culture and tradition that is infringing on your dignity and on your rights. On this show, we teach you how to know your rights and how to know your obligations. Thank you to our guests, Ms. Ediseme Egberipou.
Thank you so much for having me.
Doing justice to the topic. We're very glad to have you on the show. Okay, so that's our show this morning. Have a great weekend. Stay out of trouble.
Wow.
Golden FM 97.5.